A daily Buddhist practice is the foundation of Buddhists around the world. But if you're new to Buddhism, you may not be sure about, well, how do I begin? What do I actually do for a daily practice? So what we're going to cover here in this video today is how to start off a daily Buddhist practice which is rooted in the Buddhist traditions. Now, there are many different Buddhist traditions, and each one practices Buddhism in a different way. So when you find a tradition that speaks to you, you should follow the practice that they are actually following. So this will cover a lot of things, but of course, whatever tradition you find yourself in, they may follow some, all, or none of what I'm going to show you today. So you really should follow what they're going to be teaching you. I'll be standing up as I'm showing you all these steps today, and you can kind of go ahead and, replay me, as part of your daily practice until you get the hang of it, right? So you can kind of do that. It's perfectly fine to do, but, if you have a meditation cushion, want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Now, if you can't do that, or you can't, maybe, sit for long periods of time in that position, you can definitely use a chair or couch, something like that. That's perfectly acceptable. So many different ways you can begin your daily practice. You do not have to go very long in your daily practice. The point is to practice. So when we're talking about the Eightfold Path in Buddhism, it's practicing that, practicing the precepts, it's practicing this as part of our daily practice, not just when you're sitting, for maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, but it's about, taking that out into the world when you go out there as a Buddhist. So let's go ahead and begin. I'm going to take you through each of the steps here today. Now, if you have any questions as well, absolutely ask the questions in the comments below, but we're going to go through all these steps, and I'm going to take you through it as if we are going through a daily practice together every single day. So now we're going to start our daily practice. What I have in my hand is like a little 3-ring binder. It has plastic sheet protectors inside here. You can find this online, department stores, off supply stores. It's a nice way to actually organize your daily practice. And you just go through it every single day. You can have scriptures inside here as well. And it keeps you on track, and it's easy to do. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to bring out several books where you're bookmarking certain pages or whatever. It keeps it organized. You do not have to do this, but it's a nice way to do it, unless your Buddhist tradition actually gives you, for example, a book you can use for your daily practice and is guided that way. That might be good also. So I'm going to be using this as I take you through the very basic daily practice. A few different things, I'm of course standing up, and I mentioned before you can be on a meditation cushion or sitting down, right? I'll be doing bowing as well. If for some reason, maybe a medical condition, bowing is difficult for you, you don't have to do that. Another thing, you've probably seen plenty of Buddhists, they're actually, keeping their palms together when they're doing bowing. So it's actually not flat together. It's usually kind of like, cusping a little bit. So almost like where this looks like a lotus flower. And lotus flowers are very symbolic inside Buddhism. It's basically, as they come up, it's symbolizing enlightenment. So you can hold your binder, your scripture, piece of paper, whatever you want to, you have in your hand, you can actually hold it the same way. So when you're doing bowing, you're actually having your hands cusped together as well. Now, if that's difficult, don't worry. You don't have to do that. So first thing we're going to cover is the 3 refuges. And this version comes from Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and of love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Dwelling in the refuge of Buddha, I clearly see the path of light and beauty in the world. Dwelling in the refuge of Dharma, I learn to open many doors on a path of transformation. Dwelling in the refuge of Sangha, shining light that supports me, keeping my practice free of obstruction. Taking refuge in the Buddha, in myself, I aspire to help all people recognize their own awakened nature, realizing the mind of love. Taking refuge in the Dharma in myself, I aspire to help all people fully master the ways of practice and walk together on a path of liberation. Taking refuge in the Sangha in myself, I aspire to help all people build 4-fold communities to embrace all beings and support their transformation. Next, we will go to the 5 precepts. So these are what the laypersons, the laity like you and me, take as our moral conduct and code as we go forward as Buddhists. I will refrain from taking life. I will refrain from stealing or taking what is not freely given. I will refrain from sexual misconduct. I will refrain from false speech. I will refrain from consuming intoxicants and illegal drugs. Next, we will cover the 5 remembrances. This part of this is actually what the Buddha saw, which truly transformed him to engage on the path where he eventually became a Buddha. So for us, it's very motivational as well. The 5 remembrances. I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape having ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are of the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. I inherit the results of my actions in body, speech, and mind. My actions are the ground on which I stand. Next, we will cover meditation. So this can mean many things in many different traditions. This could be where you're going to engage in chanting, which is a form of meditative concentration, or it could be sitting meditation, or it could be both. So depending on your tradition, that's what you would follow. So a good thing to actually start with now could be just sitting meditation. I would encourage also looking towards chanting as well, so you can actually do both. A lot of laypersons actually just do chanting as part of their meditative concentration. So when you're sitting, as far as meditating on a cushion or on a chair or whatever, the purpose and the form that you're going to do is kind of try to keep your back, as straight as possible. You want to have your neck in alignment, so it's just going straight down. A good analogy is if you have like a stack of quarters or coins, and you're just like stacking them up like that. That's what you want to actually do. You want to relax your body. You want to, just do a body focus as you kind of go from like top to bottom and relax all your muscles, the tension inside your body so that you can relax. Your gaze should be roughly about maybe a 45-degree angle down. You can go ahead and slightly close your eyes. As you do it, you don't have to close them all the way. That can make you a little too drowsy sometimes. And then from there, a very basic meditation practice is to count the breath. So counting in, you would say 1, counting out, you would say 1. So you just want to count, 1 to 10, then start over again, 1 to 10. If you lose your place, start over again. The purpose of what you're doing a bit of calming meditation. You're trying to settle your mind. Our mind has lots of thoughts coming up. So you want to settle your mind. You also, as you progress, you want to, as your mind is settled, you focus and get that insight into the true nature of our world, the Buddhist teachings. But a very basic practice for all Buddhists is calming the mind, because if you can't calm the mind, that's not going to allow you to progress further. So you can use a meditation app like Insight Timer or something like that. You can have a bell to start, a bell to end. I'm going to leave it to you, to what is best for you at this particular point in this video. So you can actually pause this, and then on the flip side, we'll go to the next portion of our practice. But I would recommend just starting off with a 5-minute daily practice. That's a good one as far as your meditation. And then we will continue on. But if you want to go longer, if you want to go 10 minutes, great. If you want to go 15, 20 minutes, great. You don't have to make it, hours long, especially for daily practice. If you're doing it in the morning or in the evening, you probably have to go to work or things going on. So keep it reasonable. Don't make a massive, like I'm going to do a 2-hour, sitting meditation or something like that. Make sure you do something that's obtainable in a short amount of time you're doing your Buddhist practice. So go ahead and pause this right now and begin your meditation and or chanting, and then we will go ahead when you are ready. Just press play again and we'll continue on. Now that you finish your meditation and or chanting, an extra step you can do is reading Buddhist scriptures, sutras or sutas. You can do this before meditation or after meditation. So before meditation, you are going into meditation after reading Buddhist scriptures, which could be beneficial. But also afterwards, if you did it that way, where now I've settled my mind, so reading the Buddhist scriptures might be, I'm more receptive to it. So either way is fine. It has not always been a practice of laypersons, the laity like you and me, but it's picked up in modern times, which is a great thing, because remember, in the Noble Eightfold Path, there's that wisdom category. We're going to get the wisdom from the Buddhist scriptures, so it's great to actually, read the scriptures. If you were chanting as part of your meditation and or chanting, especially in Mahayana Buddhism, it is going to be chanting or reciting a Mahayana sutra. So you would have covered it that way, but you can still read scriptures before or after. And your tradition will tell you how you should do this as well. Now, if you're not sure what scriptures to actually read, refer to my website, I'll give you some examples. But you can also have them inside your binder. So when you get to that portion, you're flowing along and you're reading the scriptures at that particular point. It's a great way to do it. The last part of our practice is going to be dedication of merit. And so there's many beliefs and many practices as it comes to this and modifications. I'm just going to give you one version, but you can find many different other versions online. It is a good practice because what we're trying to do in Buddhism, especially when it comes to morality, conduct, etc., I want to arise generosity, compassion, and loving kindness inside myself. It's very central in Buddhism. So when you're dedicating merit, now our practice today was rooted in the Noble Eightfold Path. We are following the Buddhist teachings. It's very, very meritorious. We've gained merit from it. It was wholesome. But does that mean we keep it to ourselves? It's not like somebody's has a coin put into a bank or something like that, and we're going to give out that coin. So in some parts this is symbolic, but what we're doing, we're transforming ourselves. And this is going to be my opinion on this. So when we are dedicating merit, whether we are actually giving away our merit or it is going to be a symbolic type thing, we're transforming. Remember the compassion, the generosity, loving kindness, we are transforming ourselves. So when we engage with other sentient beings in the real world or outside of our daily practice inside our home, that's a right. So we are transforming ourselves, and thus we are able to help them as well. So it is a very good practice. It's helping you break down this belief in this permanent, everlasting, independent self, which the Buddha, remember, says doesn't exist. So that delusion, you're wiping it clean in your daily practice, which is what we're doing as Buddhists. When we can break down and get rid of this belief in self, we are engaging and advancing on the path, the Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path, and then we are able to get rid of this clinging, craving that's resulting in dukkha, the cycle of rebirth, suffering, etc. It's very, very important. So this is just going to be my version right here. Again, there's many different versions online. For all sentient beings, I dedicate the meritorious actions of this practice so they may be guided and liberated from delusion and suffering with the light of the Buddha's Dharma. And with that, you have concluded your daily practice. A great step to do afterwards is actually to give thanks. And so remember that generosity, compassion, everything. Giving thanks is a good thing. So in the beginning, we did our triple gem, right? So we can give thanks as well. You do not have to do this, but it's a great practice as well. And remember, when you are bowing to the Buddha, yes, it is to the Buddha, our teacher, but also to our inner Buddha nature, to the Buddha inside of us. So the Buddha, upon his awakening, he was astonished, that upon his realization that all sentient beings can do exactly what he did. It was not a miraculous feat in the sense that only he could do it, that anybody can do it, but we were so caught in delusion, so in love with self and everything else, that we can't see it. And he's helping us see that. And through our daily practice, we are trying to advance on that as well. So remember, when you are bowing to the Buddha, it is to the Buddha, but also to the Buddha inside yourself. What we're seeing with the Buddha, that's what we want to arise also. So you can follow along with me if you'd like to. We give thanks to the Buddha We give thanks to the Dharma. We give thanks to the Sangha. And we give thanks to all practitioners, yourself included. We are all practicing at different times, different locations, but we are all in this together as Buddhists. And so engaging in a daily practice, we're all connected in that way because we are following the Buddhist teachings. We are thankful, we are grateful to have him, his teachings, the Dharma, that are helping us, that are a prescription. And we are thankful and grateful to have the monastics, who are basically his aides in helping us progress as well. So thank you for joining me. If you have any questions, including what Buddhist practice you're actually doing, daily practice, I would love to hear that in the comments below. Thank you.